Hello dear students, today we are going to do a poem by Walt Whitman. The title of the poem is Animals. Let us first have a brief introduction of the poet. Walt Whitman was a poet born in America. He was an American poet, essayist and journalist. On top of this, he was a humanist. He is known for his simplicity and clarity of expression. The present poem by Walt Whitman, here in this very poem, the poet draws a comparison. The poet draws a comparison between animals and human beings. Animals and human beings. Here, through this very poet, the poet gives a reasoning. He argues and he justifies his argument also that animals are far better than the human beings. He goes on to say that animals do not lie awake, they do not have the mania of attaining material wealth. They are always self-satisfied, they are always self-contained, and these virtues are lacking with the human beings. The poet goes on to say that animals are very much placid, they are self-contained. That this is the reason the poet likes to be with the animals. The poet likes the company of the animals. He also Walt Whitman goes on to say that animals, they do not lie awake. When they go to bed, when they sleep, they sleep. But as a matter of just contrary to the animals, human beings, they are sleeping on the bed, but they do not sleep. They lie awake because they are always dissatisfied with what they have. They always want more and more. They always think of amassing more and more wealth. They always think that they always want to possess more and more things what they don't have. They are never satisfied with their conditions. This is the reality that the poet likes the company of the animals. The animals do not lie awake the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duties to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. See, with the advancement of science and technology, earlier the poet also says that earlier the human beings were blessed with the virtues of honesty, self-satisfaction, complacency. But in course of time, human beings became self-centered. They were charitable. The human beings were charitable in nature. They wanted in donating things to other, but in course of time, human beings became self-centered. They were not as charitable as they earlier used to be. This is the reason the poet does not like the company of man. He likes to turn into animals and live with animals. See, the poet also gives his reasoning that the poet repents with the innocence that he lost in course of in course of, you know, as he advanced into years. Earlier, when the poet was a child, he was, you know, he was quite satisfied. He didn't, human beings during their childhood days, they don't possess, you know, the dual character. Animals, what happens, unlike human beings, animals, when they are angry, they show their angers, but unlike animals, human beings are, suppose for example, if they are angry with you, they will not show their anger. Suppose for example, if human beings are jealous with you, they would not reveal their jealousy. This is called dual character, and these dual characters animals, they do not possess. This is the reason the poet likes the company of animals. The poet also, you know, he repents the childhood days that he has lost, the age of innocence, the period of innocence. He is, you know, the period of innocence is no more with the poet. He is repentant, and you know, this is the, and on the other hand, animals are quite satisfied with what they have. You know, so far as the poet is concerned, Walt Whitman rose to fame during the American Civil War. He wrote a poem at the assassination of the President of America, Abraham Lincoln. You know, he wrote, the poem was "O Captain, My Captain." You know, this very, the composition of this very poem, when he composed this very poem, he rose into fame and he became a leading poet of America, leading poet of early America. And so far as the, you know, meter and all these things are concerned, Walt Whitman was the first poet who is known for writing his poems in free verse. Earlier, before him, you know, poet always writers, or they compose their poems in a certain meter, but he is known for composing his poem in free verse. Thus, the brief discussion and brief account of Walt Whitman and the central idea of the poem Animals. That's all. Thank you.